I'm going to ask you to open your Bible to the book of James. James, you know, there are a lot of things you get that the world, and I don't mean that, you know, we often, anything from the world is bad, but there are some things that people do that stand out. You got to admit, the guy that came up with a vaccine for polio did a good thing. And the guy that came up with a vaccine for smallpox did a good thing. They give these people prizes, you know, Nobel Peace Prizes. I think you heard that President Obama just got the Heisman. We watched the college football game. But anyway, you know, and you guys are in the military. You know, there are numerous medals that guys can win. And the one that people, I think, probably pay most attention of is they used to call it the Congressional Medal of Honor, but there's really no honor connected with the Congress, so they call it the Medal of Honor. And men have won that, but some of them have won it at the expense of like their legs, even their life, right? Read this Bible. There are 5 crowns that you can earn in your life here on this earth. There's one, you know, if you're one of those people like, I got to have it all, think about this one here, because this is one that you may win, but it could be very costly. It is found in James chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say, when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Some of you are from the LSD age. You guys remember that? Some of you still got it, probably. But anyway, here's God's LSD, verse 15. Then lust, hell, hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, S, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth D, death. But I'm going to talk to you this morning about temptation, because everybody is going to experience temptation. It is not something that you really want to experience. It really is. I don't know if you're trying to check every box, you know, and I want to try that. You don't have to try temptation. I was talking to a guy. I preach in Las Vegas. And I don't even go down. I don't even go down and get the $4.95 prime rib at the casino. I'm just not really interested in it. And I was talking to a preacher friend, and he goes, "Well, I'll put a quarter in one of those machines. I'll see what it was like." And I thought, well, did you go get drunk? Did you want to see what that was like? Commit adultery? Did you want to see what that was like? And so I preached there, but that's all. But I'm going to talk to you about temptation, because everybody here is going to experience temptation. You're better not to. And so I'll talk to you about temptation, about how to handle it and how not to handle it. I'll tell you the verse in the Bible that's going to destroy some of your lives, because you're just, you know, you're so sure that you're Christian, spiritual, I got it made, no problem here, type of an attitude. And so I'm going to talk to you about that. Temptation. You ever hear this? People say this. Oh, did you hear about so-and-so? They fell into sin. You ever fall into anything? Have you ever stepped in a hole? You know, I saw this. It was security camera film in the back of a store, and it was a little area, barely wider than this pulpit. And it shows from this angle, you see this lady, and she's doing something. And the only way to access the basement in this store was through a trapdoor, a large trapdoor in the floor right behind her. While she's doing something behind her, somebody opens up that trapdoor and goes down the steps. This woman takes one step back, and I mean, she literally disappears from sight. She fell into that open trapdoor. You know, nobody ever fell into sin. Nobody ever found themselves in a motel room going, how did this happen? Nobody ever found themselves going, gee, how did I end up on drugs? How did that happen? I was going to the grocery store, and I just ended up on a drunken binge. People, now get this, no one falls into sin, but you fall into temptation. By that I mean that you can be minding your own business, and suddenly you are tempted to do something that you're not supposed to do. That's right. We fly a lot, you know, and some time ago I was flying someplace at the gate, waiting for a flight, and this lady got up and walked away. And as she walked away, she had a bunch of $20 bills folded over 4 times, you know, about that big. I don't know where she had them. And apparently she didn't either, because she had to walk away, and as she walked away, they fell on the floor there again. Well, she's walking away, you got to act fast. And so I stood up and went, yeah. Well, Romans 8:28. That's right. No, I called that, but here's the thing. I've done no business. Suddenly, I'm tempted to steal this lady's money. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can fall into temptation. We've all seen this. We've all seen the kid, you know, they did this in science class when you were a kid. The kid experiment, you take a piece of notebook paper or typing paper. Well, there's no typing paper, there's no typewriters. Copier paper is called now. And you put metal filings on it, and you put a magnet under the center of it, and what happens? 3 things those filings do. In a circle around the sphere of influence of that magnet, the filings go boom, right? And on the outside of that sphere of influence, they're right there. It's like, kind of like a Baptist watching TV. But if you look around the edge, you know what the filings are doing? They're doing this. Lining up. You know what they are? They're tempted. They don't know if they should stay where they are or go to what is drawing them. That is temptation. Temptation has a sphere of influence. Some of you guys in the Air Force, you know that when a pilot crosses into enemy territory, he's got to go past some anti-aircraft missile sites, and on his cockpit display, there are little yellow circles. And what that is that is an anti-aircraft missile radar that is just painting the sky in a 360-degree circle, but it's yellow because it doesn't know he's there yet. And if he crosses into the sphere of that circle, it goes from yellow to red. That does not mean he's going to get shot down. That means he could be shot down. And the object isn't how many of those can I cut across and turn red and still get back alive. That's not the object. The object is, if there's one here and one here, you fly between them. The object is never be seen. Guys, you should never want to be tempted. There are things that you have to endure, but you should not want to be tempted. Now, I want you to go back to Romans chapter 6, and I'll show you how to handle some things about temptation. I was before I got saved, I was raised Roman Catholic. How many of you are also raised Roman Catholic? All right, even if you weren't, you might have learned what is known as the Lord's Prayer. And as you know, it is not the Lord's Prayer. He didn't pray it. It is the disciples' prayer. He's telling us how to pray. And here's what I got told after I got saved. They said, well, you shouldn't say that because that's vain repetition. And I'll tell you what I think. I think, how can something Jesus Christ said be vain? How can it be vain? Vain is like no value whatsoever. Kind of like anything Obama says. Anything the news media says. And you say, yeah, but you just say it over and over and over, and you don't mean it. First time I've been in front of a bunch of you folks. I don't know what you're praying for. But I'll bet you I'm talking to people, you've been praying for some lost loved ones for 15 and 20 and 25 years. Sounds like repetition. And if they're not saved yet, sounds like it's been in vain. Why don't you knock it off? But you're not going to, are you? I don't really think this is a bad prayer. It starts out, Our Father which art in heaven. You know why I'm impressed with our God? Let me tell you how I view this God. This God has so much power that He can take dirt, stack it up, and breathe into its nostrils. It does not get light. It does not get light. A dog has life, but a dog is not a living soul. This God has so much power, He can stack dirt up, breathe into His nostrils the breath of life, and it becomes a living soul. Now, please, forgive me this use of words. This is the best way I can say it. Pretty good trick. I mean, if he stopped there, that's pretty good. Pinocchio would have been just happy with life. But you become a living soul. That's good enough. But no, that's not enough for this God, because then you know what He did? He let the only son He had die. So that this piece of dirt can go spend eternity with His Creator. So now as I talk to you, I am on a journey. Even as I speak, I am on my way. This piece of walking, talking mud is headed for eternity with its Creator. Guys, is that not enough?
Yeah.
Not for him. Because somewhere, I had no idea this was taking place, and you probably didn't either when you got saved, but during that divine transaction when you got saved and I got saved,
Yeah.
you got on your knees, according to John chapter 8, verse 44, a son of the devil, and you got off your knees, according to John chapter 1, verse 12, a son of God.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
So now, this walking, talking piece of dirt. Where's my wife? Did I say Romans?
Yes.
Don't listen to me. I'm looking out here. My wife never looks worried. She's really looking worried. And I thought of my cigarette, shall we? Yes, as long as my toupee doesn't fall off, I'm okay. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew. Don't listen to me. I never listen to me. I am very sorry. But I feel better now because she doesn't look so concerned. She writes it. She hates when I preach it. But I'm impressed because here I am. I'm a walking, talking piece of dirt. You know what I do when I address my Creator? What can I call him? Could I call him Creator? Could I call him Lord? Could I call him Almighty? Could I call him God? Could I call him Master? But you know, of all those things, I get to address my Creator as Father.
Yeah.
I am impressed with him. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So you say, that sounds kind of like flattery. Well, how can you know what flattery is? Flattery is a compliment beyond reason. Hey, if one of you ladies, you have a guest coming over and you cook a nice meal, I mean, you work hard, you cook a nice meal, and that guy says, ma'am, that was a tremendous meal. Thank you very much. That is a compliment. That's not flattery. That is a compliment. You work hard and you deserve some compliment for what you did. But if the guy goes, that meal was really great, I've never had fried chicken like that. You go, it was meatloaf. Well, which is exactly why I've never had fried chicken. Exactly like that. I was trying to judge by the fur. But you know, the guy goes on and on and finally says something like this, my wife doesn't cook as good as you. You know how you can tell when you're being flattered? When you feel your head inflating. You work hard. Somebody says, man, I thank you so much. You really worked hard. I appreciate what you did. Well, thank you. You feel gratitude. And they go, wow, nobody's as good as you. And all of a sudden you try to praise yourself. That's flattery. Let me ask you a question. How can you compliment God beyond reason? Where can you go over the top saying good things about God?
Yeah.
I'll bet when you open your prayers, you never say anything good about God. You know why? Because you don't want God. You don't want God. You want Santa Claus. You just go to God with your want list and tell him, do this, will you? It says, here's the Lord taught us to pray, and he said, when you start, say something good about God. You ought to say something good about God.
Amen.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I am sure every time you pray, you say to God, I hope you get what you want. Yeah, I'll bet. Isn't that why you went? Because you want to get what you want? You want what you want. You go to God saying, hey, get this done. You never go to God saying, I sure hope you get what you want. And you certainly don't plan on being part of it. But you ought to say to him, I hope you get what you want. Let me ask you a question. I'd like to think this. I'd like to think that I'm talking to a group of people that when you sit down to eat, before you eat, you bow your head and you thank God for your food. Is that true?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Are you asking for it? Do you ask him for your food? You know there's 4 reasons why Christians never ask God for their food. You all have refrigerator, freezer, pantry, grocery store. I've not been to your homes, but I'll bet you every home represented here, you've got more food than you can eat in one day.
Yep.
For a Baptist, that's pretty good. Because we try to eat it all in one day. You've got more food than you can eat in one day. And you don't ask God for your food because you've got it in your refrigerator and your freezer and your pantry, and if those get low, don't say you're going to pray. You're going to go to the grocery store and fill those up. But if this so-called recession turns into depression and turns into the dissolution of our nation and turns into anarchy and civil war. I'm not talking about a civil war, north-south. I'm talking about going a mile down the road and passing 3 checkpoints where somebody kills you for being something or not being something. It's not going to take long before the grocery store shelves in Fairbanks are empty, you think?
That's right.
And if the grocery store shelves go empty, then at some point so is your pantry, so is your refrigerator, and so is your freezer. And I'll bet when that comes, I bet you're going to ask God for your food, right? Yeah. Well, don't you think you're going to get that idea along with 300 million other people in this country? And I don't know about you, but I don't like lines. So you know what I do? Look at verse 11. Give us this day our daily bread. I ask God for my food every day. We have a motorhome. It doesn't have a big pantry. It doesn't have a big refrigerator. It does not have a big freezer. And we have food in all of it. But I don't trust those. And we're in a town, and every town we go to doesn't have a grocery store. It has several. But we don't trust those. So every day, I pray those words right there. When I pray that prayer right there, I say, God, please give us this day our daily bread. Guys, did you ever stop and think about this? If you ask God for your food every day, then every time you ate that day, it'd be an answered prayer. I mean, for a Baptist, we could get 5 or 6 prayers answered a day. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Look what it says, verse 13, and lead us not into temptation. You know what you ought to pray every day? You ought to ask God every day, Lord, don't lead me into the sphere of influence of temptation. I am a metal filing. Don't let me get anywhere near a magnet. That's what you need to pray. Lord, lead me not into temptation. Now, here's the verse that's going to destroy some of your life. The verse that is going to destroy some of your lives because you're going to rely on yourself. Not this verse, but you're going to rely on yourself. Is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, where it says that God will not allow temptation into your life above you are able, but that with every temptation give you a way of escape. Is that not true?
Yeah.
And you know why some of you aren't worried about being tempted? Well, I'll just take the way of escape. Well, you really? See, that's the whole problem. Well, I don't have to worry about being tempted because God's going to make a way of escape. Who said you're going to take it? Who wouldn't escape? There's been a lot of people who have escaped. You know, I was talking about the Sunday morning service. If a fire broke out and began to fill this front end of this building, you'd head for that door. You'd get out of here. You know why? That's the way of escape. Correct?
Yeah.
But let's add something to this scenario. Here's the fire. There's the way of escape. And right here is a wheelbarrow filled with gold coins. Now, it's going to get burned up in fire anyway. And it certainly is a shame that, I mean, come on, how long does it take? From here to that door, 3 seconds, 5 seconds? So why not another 5 seconds just walk up and fill a pocket with some of those gold coins before I get out of here? And, you know, it's a shame. God believes in balance, so I'm a little heavy on one side. So why not fill the other pocket? And you know what? They find you dead right there with your pockets full of gold coins. The way of escape was right there, but you didn't use it because you were tempted. You know, in Pompeii, I heard a guy say that to uncover all of Pompeii would take another 200 years. That was a huge city. And many of the people, you know, when Vesuvius went off and killed those people, that many people died and they literally were molded. They found the lava and they cut it open and they poured plaster into the mold and they've got literal death casts of people. You know, they got one guy, the guy is half in and half out his window. He could have escaped the coming lava, but rather than go out the door and run, he waited longer because he was trying to gather everything that he had that he could. And they found the guy dead, half in and half out of his window where he was taken over by the fumes, and a bag of his riches right beside him. See, there was a way of escape. You're so sure that there's going to be a way of escape. Well, of course there is. God's going to make one. You just have such confidence in yourself you're going to take it. That's where you're a fool. You're a fool. You know what you should say? God, lead me not in temptation. Don't even let me get in that sphere of influence. That is a valid prayer. Your Savior told you to pray that prayer. So I ask God every day, lead me not into temptation. I somebody say, well, I want to be tempted because I want to build up strength against it. You can't. I speak with scriptural authority. You cannot build up resistance to temptation. You know why? Because by its definition, you're tempted. It's called temptation, right? Then you can't build up a strength against it. You know you can build up your faith. You know that? You start out, some of you remember when you started out many years ago, you just got saved, you just got married, and you started out with faith in little areas. And pretty soon you got faith in big areas. My wife and I got married between my third year of Bible college. We went down to Bible college, and she got sick and had to go to the doctor. And then I got sick and had to go to the doctor. You know, guys don't go to the doctor, but I go to the doctor. And then our car broke down. And we're one of those people, we budget everything. We would, if we had a bill that we had to owe $100 a month on, every week we'd have an envelope, we'd put $25 in, so that we were putting the money ahead. Well, we were college students. We didn't have a phone or anything like that. And so we had these unexpected bills, and we started taking money out of what was going to be due. And I told the Lord, now look, you're going to take care of this, because we don't have this money. We just trust the Lord to take care of us. And at the very same time, we go to church and somebody hands us $2. Somebody give us $5. Her sister sent us $10. This is October. And her sister said, I was going to send you this at Christmas, but the Lord told me to send it to you now. And so we're going to the grocery store one day because we are Baptist. I mean, we've got a conviction against everything, but at least we can go to the grocery store and lust. So we just walked down aisles going, whoa, cereal. Anyway, so we're at this grocery store, this idea came to me, and I said, Kathy, add these things together. And I gave her these unexpected bills. Then it came to $52. I said, now add these together, and I gave her the amounts of money that came in unexpectedly. And she looked at me and she went, $52. And I didn't tell her. She was excited. I didn't tell her, but I said, God, you owe me $5 more. Because at 52, I tithed it. And I'll leave 20 cents, but you owe me at least 5. And that was Saturday. I came back home, came home from work Monday. Kathy said, guess what you got in the mail today? I said, $5. She goes, how'd you know? Now, we were just married. You understand? We'd only been married a couple months. And we had to have faith for $52. I don't think we didn't have lessons sent here. I have set a lesson, 2 sets of lessons. They're laid out very much like ACE, 12 lessons per year, grade 11 and grade 12, because some of you are going to send your child to a King James Bible college, and they're going to go over there. The first thing they're going to hear is King James are homosexual. Easter doesn't belong there. The italics need to be taken out. The words need to be updated. And your child is going to come back from a King James Bible college not believing the book they went there believing. Right. Because you called the guy on the phone and talked to him yourself, and so you were sure. Yeah. So I did this 11th and 12th grade so that we can prepare our children before they go to Bible college. Yeah. It took me 3 years to do the first set of lessons. It was very difficult. And I was just getting to know the ropes about it. And I went to the printer when I got done. Now that meant for 3 years, somebody graduated from homeschool or Christian school and went off to college and lost their faith in the book because these lessons weren't there to inoculate them. And I went to the printer, and they're 4-color, and I gave them to the printer, and he said, we'll call you in 2 weeks, and I'll tell you what they're going to cost. And so I told Kathy, I said, brace yourself. 4-color, 12 lessons, plus a score key. I said, I know this guy's going to say $24,000. He didn't. He called me 2 weeks later. He said $48,000. I'd already paid about $5,000, almost $5,000 for the graphics. The combined price for the first year lessons was $52,000. I got him on the phone. He said it was going to cost you $48,000. I said, print them. He said, did you have that much? No. But they're looking for me in 4 different states. What do you think I'm looking now? You think I come to Alaska in November voluntarily? You out of your mind? No, you know what? I just thought this. For 3 years, kids have gone to the college without those. I'm not going to, now they're ready to go. I'm not going to send them on the shelf and have even 1 more year go. So I should do it. I cannot tell you, I'm telling you guys, I cannot tell you how they got paid for, but they got paid for. I'm not one of those people that sends out, a faith letter saying, please send me money. I'm trusting God, but I'd like your money. Anyway, I don't do that. And the next year, it only took me 1 year to do the second set, and they were $52,000. And we just trusted the Lord to take care of it. And the church did help us with $10,000 on that. That still leaves me at $42,000. You say, where'd the money come from? I don't know. But you see, here's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that when we first got married, we had to have faith for $52. Yeah. 30-some years later, we had faith for 52,000. You know why? Because you start out small and you strengthen your faith like a muscle. But you don't strengthen yourself against temptation, because by its very name, you could fall. You could end up messing up. So here's what you pray. Number one, pray every day. Lord, lead me not in temptation. The second thing, don't lead yourself into it. Don't lead yourself into it. So who do that? You. You. You know, these guys, I love these guys, they buy 18 rock and roll albums and I'm studying this. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. When I was in Bible college, I had a fellow student, he said, now when I was in Bible college, the bad movie was Rosemary's Baby. I know what it's about, never seen it, not interested in it. And he said, I'm going to go see Rosemary's Baby. I said, why? We don't go to movies. I said, why are you going to go see Rosemary's Baby? He said, I want to preach against it. And he said, I can't much preach against it if I don't know what it's about. What do you think? I said, I hope you never want to preach against adultery. Hope you never want to preach against drug addiction. And if you ever want to preach against homosexuality, I don't want to be around for research. Isn't it funny how you subject yourself to that? And then all of a sudden, you're messed up in something. You say, well, I was just studying it. No, you weren't. You led yourself into temptation. Leading yourself into temptation is like taking a stroll through a minefield. You might make through out through the other side, and you might lose a leg. This looks like my hand, but it's not. It's actually a wooded area, and it's 1 mile across and 2 miles long. And you live here. And the road home goes here, and it goes around this woods. And all your life, from this big, all your life, your parents told you, don't ever cut across that woods. There's wolves in that woods. They'll eat you. You know people that were killed. You've seen the wolves. You know they're there. This is not imaginary. This is real. And so you always come home, and instead of taking a 1 mile route home, you take 5 miles around this woods. But one night you're really, really late. You're really running late, and you just don't have time for a 5 mile walk. And you think, I will be careful. I will be as careful as I can. But I'm going to try to cut across that woods. And you know what happens? Nothing. You're not killed by a wolf. You are not chased by a wolf. You don't see a wolf. You don't hear a wolf. You don't even see a wolf footprint. But you know what you just did? You just messed yourself up, because the Bible doesn't say to abstain from sin. It says that you need to abstain from the what? Appearance of sin. If you got a bar in town that's got the best shrimp basket in town, then you're never going to get the best shrimp basket in town. Amen. You're going to get, at best, you're going to get the second best shrimp basket in town. You say, but if I go in there and I don't get nothing but a shrimp basket and a Coke, what's wrong? What's wrong is that as you walk out, your lost neighbor sees you, and he probably doesn't say, probably got a shrimp basket and a Coke. One of your church members, one of your church friends will say, hey, so you come out of that bar. What were you doing? Were you in there getting shrimp and a Coke again? Because you're not abstaining from the appearance of evil, so you go after the shrimp basket 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and one day you have a shrimp basket of beer and you can't understand what happened. It started the first time, and so you took that shortcut. Now, guess what's going to happen the next time you're coming home? And you're not quite so pressed for time, but the last time everything was okay, and you take the shortcut. Pretty soon, you're not going this way anymore at all. You take the shortcut, take the shortcut, take the shortcut, and then one day, you make it halfway across, and you're eaten by a wolf. You let yourself into temptation. I knew this happening, believe it or not. And there was, you won't believe this situation probably, but it's true. There was a family, and this man in a church, this man would go to work, and he'd come back, and he'd go to work, and right after he'd go to work, the pastor would come and spend 3 hours with his wife. Now you're going, oh, what did they do? You know what they did? Talked about baseball. They did, yeah. That's as close to sin you can get to. 3 hours talking about baseball? Please, give me a root canal. But anyway, you say, oh, no, they didn't. No, they talked about baseball. There was no sin involved. You say, then what's wrong with that? Well, there's 2 things wrong with it. Number one, when they walked out of that house, when that guy walked out of the house, you think the lost neighbor across the street said, and talking about baseball. And the second problem is, you're going to talk about baseball, 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 you end up in bed. So what happened? You let yourself into temptation. Don't lead yourself into temptation. I told you, I preach in Las Vegas, and I've never put a nickel in or a quarter, dime, or anything in those machines. But if I had been a recovering gambler, I don't think I'd pick Las Vegas as a place to live. You say, well, just don't go to the casino. Then don't go to the grocery store. Don't go to the gas station. They're everywhere. Don't put yourself where you're tempted. The third thing about temptation, if you find yourself tempted, you ready for this? I want you men to get this straight. Men, I want you to know there is a time when we have to take a stand. When we have to plant our feet, brace ourselves, and stand like a man. And when you find yourself tempted, that's not the time. That's the time to run like a coward. Hit the door, run like a coward. You say, I'll never do it. Just save your life. We all know about Joseph, Potiphar's son, and Potiphar's wife. And you know how he ran out of there, out of the house? Do you ever think maybe he left? He went running out of there because he wanted to stay. Maybe he wanted to stay. I mean, you know she had a reputation amongst all the workers in the house. If they called her anything, they called her easy. And maybe he ran because he wanted to stay. Well, if I run, the guys that are with me, they'll make fun of me for running. That's nothing compared to what they'll call you once you stay. So run. Run like a coward. There's no time. There's time to be brave. That's not the time. There's something else you need to know about temptation. You really need to get this. Pray every day, lead me not into temptation. Don't lead yourself, and run if you find yourself in it. If you have been tempted to do some dastardly thing, some vile, evil, wicked sin, you've been tempted so far as that you actually began to make plans to do it, and at the last minute, you got cold feet, and you didn't do it. You did not sin. Don't count being tempted to do something as though you did it. You know how we treat being tempted? Just like you did it. Doesn't the Bible say Jesus Christ was tempted? Just like us? Yet without sin? So guys, being tempted is not sin. If a Sunday school teacher said this, stood up in front of the church and said, "Preacher, I was on an airplane, and I haven't had a drink in 25 years, so I got saved. And they came by with little bottles like that, and I thought, I have a drink on this airplane. Who's ever going to know? Nobody. And so I bought that, and I got me a Coke, and I got some more rum, and I put it in there, and I just about to take a drink, and I thought, no, I can't do this. You know, if a guy gave that testimony, somebody would go, "Preacher, you're going to teach Sunday school? Didn't you hear what he did?" Yeah. According to James, he just got the crown of life. Look, if you've been tempted and didn't give in, isn't that a victory? Then quit treating it like a defeat. I am talking to somebody. You've been tempted to do some horrible things, so horrible, that if you told us what you were tempted to do, we wouldn't want to hear it. But if you didn't do it, then don't beat yourself like you did. Man, if everybody here told each other what, if somebody stood up and all said what I'm tempted to do, if you heard what some folks are tempted to do, you just wouldn't believe it. Well, pray for me. I bought 3 glazed donuts yesterday, and I had 3 more. I bought half a dozen. I was tempted them all. I stopped at 3. You know something, though? I wish that was my temptation. Oh, God, give me glazed temptation. But guys, here's our problem. We get tempted because you do fall into temptation. Who do you think you are? Was Jesus Christ God? Oh, he's a little, notch above you. And he was tempted. Who do you think you are? That you're never going to be tempted. But if you've been tempted and didn't do it, don't beat yourself. Now, I'm done, but I want to tell you this. You want to experience temptation? Would you like to experience temptation? Everybody, I want to know what it's like. Okay. I'm going to tell you how to be tempted. Oh, you're going to tell us how to sin. No. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to say 2 words, and most of you will understand exactly what I'm going to say, especially if you've experienced this. You ready for this? Time share. You know, you're going to go to Disney World, and I guess it's like $150 a day, they tell me. I don't know. And there's a thing that says free Disney World tickets. Whoa. I mean, that saved us $300. And I'm a good steward, you know. I could probably spend it on tracks. And so you go to get your free tickets, and they go, yeah, but we got to talk to you for 90 minutes. And they tell you about buying a timeshare. Now look, timeshares, some people buy them and they use them and they're good. And some people get suckered into it. And a timeshare is really, you buy a motel room for 1 week a year. But it's yours, you own it. Wow. I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy one for only one reason. What I'm going to do, the week it's mine, I want to paint the walls purple. I'm going to take all the furniture out and bring in orange crates and concrete blocks to sit on. And when they come in and go, you can't do it. What do you mean I can't do it? It's mine. Don't I own it? I wanted it purple. I wanted this furniture. What about the guy next week? Don't paint it, it's his. I'm going to be nice enough to leave my orange crate furniture. I mean, he can take it. Put it on it. It's his. Now, here's why some of you would endure that, because you go, well, I just tell them I can't afford it. Oh, like they never heard that before. Listen, they'll tell you why you can't afford it. Why would you rent a room in a motel for a week for $700 when you can buy it once a year for $10,000? And you go, well, you can tell me I can't afford it. And it's kind of, oh, sure, you can do this. We can afford it. Well, we don't want to vacation the same place every year. Oh, no problem. So you can trade your week for another place here, another place here, another place here. Well, you can go to any place in the world, just trade. We can trade. You know, whether you buy it or not, you know what? They won't even let you out. They don't let you go back out. You have to go through withdrawal. They put you in a room with very strong coffee and a lot of ashtrays. Man, we went to one of those places. Now, here's what we want the tickets. I want the tickets. Well, you have to rush. No, we're going to buy your timeshare, so just give us the tickets. If you talk to us for 90 minutes, you're wasting your time and your words and our time. So just give us the tickets. And they go, well, you got to stay here for 90 minutes. I know. We brought books. We're going to read. We'll sit right over there. We're going to read. We do. We're going to read for 90 minutes. And then you come and give us the tickets. And that way, during the 90 minutes we're reading, you might sell us to somebody because you're going to waste your time with us. You don't want to waste your time, right? No, that's okay. You say, oh, you're really smart. You know how smart I am? I know if I listened, I might buy it. I don't want to go into temptation. Man, we were one of those places, and we were having a cup of coffee, and there's this woman, man. I mean, she needed more fingers to hold on the cigarette. We sat down at the table, she goes, did you buy? And we were in our 30s at this time. She was like whizzing. 50, 60, you know. You look at this person like been around the block a few times, mature, smarter than me. And she goes, did you buy? We go, no. We did. You know what this mature woman said? I'm not sure we did the right thing. Yeah. You think that woman ever thought she'd say those words at that age? You say, what happened? She got in temptation. So if you want to experience temptation, just go to timeshare presentation. You say, well, I'm not going to do it. Then let me tell you where some of you fall into temptation. Uh-oh. Yeah. When's the last time you went to Walmart and only bought what you wanted? When's the last time you said, oh, I can't afford that, but... Yeah. And now you can't understand why you're $10,000 in debt. Because you go into temptation every time. See, you think to be tempted you have to go into a bar, but some of you get tempted every time you go to Walmart. You know that some of you, now listen, if you'll listen to this, I can save you thousands of dollars. Really? You would do well to go down to the corner gas station, 7-Eleven convenience store, and buy something and pay 35 cents more than you would get it at Walmart. And save the $25 that you'll spend on other things when you save that 35 cents at Walmart. Right? Yeah. Because you go and you buy one thing, and you go, man, I gotta have that. We don't have more wicked. And now you're in trouble. See, you thought you were never in temptation. But some of you can't get past the cash register. So guys, here's what you ought to do. Every day, pray this. Lead me not in temptation. Don't lead yourself into it. If you find yourself tempted, run like a coward. And if you've been tempted, do something very dastardly, Don't beat yourself like you did it. According to James, according to the Bible, that was a victory. You being tempted and not giving in, that's a victory, not defeat. Then count it for the victory that it is. And don't beat yourself, and don't beat somebody else for having won a victory. Let's have a word of prayer and take a break. Father, thank you for your goodness and your grace. God, we have no problem with you. No. We have no problem with your book. We are the problem. We are our own worst problem. And I pray, God, something that was said this morning will help these people with temptation. And I hope I hope these people from this day till they breathe their last breath on this earth, that none of them ever experience temptation again. That would be the best.